Hey guys, how's it going? So I thought I would take the time tonight to go ahead and make a little introduction video. So basically, I guess the way to say this, the first thing I should say is if you already know me, if you know me in real life, if you grew up with me, if you related to me, if you're a friend of mine, if you work with me, if you see me all the time in real life, then you're not going to hear anything in this video you don't already know. This video I'm making for people who may come along to this channel now that I'm changing things up, and who don't know who I am. I figured I might as well give my story. People know who I am. So yeah, where do we start? So basically, my name is Buck. I'm a guy that picks up heavy stuff, logs, rocks, you name it. I'll play with heavy things. So I'll kind of take you guys back to the beginning in a second here. I don't want to miss anything. Take you back to where it all started for me. So right now, as of now, I've gotten to the point where I'm making videos like almost every day. I'm making videos a few times a week, lifting heavy stuff. We've had some, I've been posting on Facebook. I'm getting a little following, and then my friends are loving it. And people have been telling me I need to make YouTube videos. We've been doing these little wiener fights, what we call wiener fights. Wiener fights are myself and my neighbor going to war with heavy things, war with each other, see who's gonna win. He's the wiener man because he sells hot dogs, he sells wieners downtown. That's what he does, right? So we've been having wiener fights for fun, and they've been a lot of fun. And some of those have music, so you can't have that on YouTube as far as I know still, right? But all the videos I've been doing lately with the strongman stuff and that, and some of the wiener fights even, we really haven't had music, so I'm gonna go ahead and you guys will get some of the wiener fights too. But anyways, before I get too sidetracked on all that stuff, back to who I am and how I got my start. So, like I say, for anybody who doesn't know me, new people coming along, thank you for one, if you're gonna support me as an underdog. It is very nice to have support. Without support from people, none of this is possible, and that's how it all started too, at least on the strongman end of it, right? So let me see. So yeah, I make videos. I do strongman competition here in my town. I do like little farmer types, small town strongmans, flip over cars, pull big trucks. I got a little fan following here in my hometown because you're one of their hometown heroes, and you're the underdog compared to these big giant guys, but you still go out there and get it done. I work construction, concrete, hot asphalt. In the wintertime, when my community hunkers down for a storm, that's when I get the call to go out. So yeah, in the heart of the storm, that's when I'm out working. So I'm used to it being kind of rough, right? Been working my whole life. I was a farmer most of my life. So anyways, to go back to the beginning of all this, you got to go back 5 years for me. It's been 5 years now I've been on this little journey that's led us to this, to me gonna have this YouTube channel. I've had this channel for a while, and I told the guys they wanted me to make videos, put them on YouTube. I'm like, well, I already got this little channel, so I might as well just convert it over and make it a strongman channel. So yeah, we go back 5 years. If you want to hear me right from the beginning, you guys want to know who I am, what's going on, how I got here, right? Might as well start at the beginning. So 5 years ago, life is good. I'm working, me and my wife, our dogs, happy little life, right? We're all good. I'm not doing anything special, just a working man, just a strong guy, not working out, not doing anything, nothing, no working out, nothing like that, just working hard. And I've always been a hard worker and a strong guy. Worked out a little with weights off and on in my life, but not full time. Go back 5 years ago, was not where I was doing nothing. So here's the little surprise for you. This all started for me kind of the very beginnings, a little back more than 5 years ago, because the whole thing really got started for me. What put the wheels in motion was the night that Osama bin Laden was killed. That's how I got to become a strongman and make a YouTube channel, and I'll explain all that. That sounds crazy, but it's true. 100% true story. Osama bin Laden gets killed, and It's world news. It's famous everywhere. So me, you know, a few years after that happened, I discovered YouTube and I start checking out this stuff, and it's like, all right, well, who are these SEALs? Who are these Navy SEALs that killed Osama bin Laden? So I start looking into these guys, and I knew they weren't just ordinary soldiers, but I really didn't understand, like, your whole Green Beret, you know, like Navy SEALs, Special Ops, Commandos. I didn't have an understanding of all this until they killed Osama bin Laden. And then I'm like, who are these guys? Because that's fucking awesome. Sorry about the language, but that's awesome. So I'm like, all right, I check into it, right? And if you're gonna get into that, you're gonna see like what's going on with this whole Osama bin Laden thing. Well, you find out Robert O'Neill shot Osama bin Laden. He's a famous SEAL. So I get watching these documentaries about it and checking this guy out. Thinking, man, this guy's pretty cool. This Robert O'Neill, he's a pretty cool guy. And so then I get watching and learning more and more about his SEAL buddies, his friends. And next thing you know, you fall in line kind of thing, and you discover the Marcus Luttrell, Lone Survivor. Great story. If anybody's never heard that, go check that out right now. Just stop watching this and go watch Lone Survivor. Awesome movie, true story. Anyways, there's a lot of great SEALs. There's Sean Ryan, David Rutherford, Leif Bavin. There's Don Shipley. You know, on the internet these days, the SEALs are amazing. So anyway, back into the strongman thing here. Okay, it goes from that. So I'm a guy. I'm a working man, not working out. Now all of a sudden, I'm a big fan of the Navy SEALs. Right? That's how this starts for me. So one time on Facebook, I see this thing where to become like a Navy SEAL, one of the first steps is you have to be able to like do so many push-ups, so many sit-ups, so many pull-ups. You have to be able to swim so far. It was like winter time, and I'm working down by the lake, and the water's cold, and I'm not going for a swim because you'll die. And I'm like in my mid-40s, 50 right now. So we're going back, you know, a few years ago. So I'm in my mid-40s. I come home and I tell my wife about these little challenges. Not challenges, but things you have to be able to do to even be able to qualify to get into whatever the first step is for the Navy SEALs. And one of them were these push-ups. So many push-ups. I think it was 200, like a minute and a half or a minute 60, something like that. I don't really remember right now because this is years ago. But anyways, I came home and my wife laughed at me, and she's like, there's no way that you could do that. And I'm like, babe, like, no, I can literally do that. I hadn't worked out for years, nothing. And so I dropped down on the ground, and I failed by like 4 seconds. Not too shabby for a guy in his mid-40s that don't work out, right? I just barely missed the mark. So anyway, the next day I wake up, go to work, I come home, and it's like, God damn, you know, again, sorry for the language, but man, I was feeling so ripped up, my whole body from doing all those push-ups. It was just crazy how my body felt. I hadn't worked out for years, and I was like, man, I've got to start working out. So I did. Started going around to yard sales and things, buying weights, you know, pawn shops and stuff, just all over. So I got a bench. I got a real good bench. I got lucky. I got a beautiful bench and a bunch of weights at a yard sale, all steel. Painted everything black, made it look great. Started working out. And next thing you know, they say it's exactly 5 years ago now. So I started working out. And I started getting bored, not of working out, but what am I going to do with it? I started putting some size on. I started looking half decent. I was getting pretty big, and I'm like, well, what am I going to do? So I started kind of like almost trying to reach out a little bit to people in the community that worked out and stuff, like people that had gyms or this or that, you know, not really knowing where my place was going to be, where I was going to fit in, where this was going to lead me to. And it almost got to the point where I was going to quit because it was just me by myself working out, and it felt like forever, and I had no friends in it, no one, just all alone, just working out. And then it happened. Then she happened. I got noticed. And this was all just Facebook, but I got noticed. I was putting on some size. I was getting big, and I was a nobody to anybody. I was on a known guy, just some guy that had clearly been working out. So the guys that noticed me were professional arm wrestlers, and they reached out, and they, you know, come on over here, big boy, I feel all right. And I was like, well, damn. I've been an arm wrestler off and on all my life. I mean, not on any kind of professional level, but anytime I was in an arm wrestling match my whole life, I didn't lose. So I'm thinking, man, these guys, like, they picked the right guy for arm wrestling. I'm going to go over there, and yeah, I'm not going to beat them all, but I'll be able to beat some of them because I know how good I am at arm wrestling, or so I thought. So I go over for the first time. Never forget my first day. That was an awesome experience. I walk up the driveway, stand in this guy's garage, like, you know, and some people are talking to me, like, hey, buddy, here you go. I'm like, are you guys the arm wrestlers? You know, I was invited to come over here, and they're like, yeah. And they're kind of looking at me like, who is this guy? So the guy comes out, I've never met him before. He's my best friend now, Mark Hoover. And he introduces himself, and he was the guy, he runs this club. He's, you know, he introduces me to the guys, and one by one, these guys just take me down. Like, I'm not even there. Like, I got nothing. Get down to the last guy who's like 70 years old or so, and I'm thinking, well, shit, like, I got this guy right. Wrong. Big time wrong. Took me a year to get past that guy. A year. Borderline ex-world champion. Like, this amazing athlete. Even for an old man, you don't you don't mess with this guy, right? Anyway, so I spend the next 4 years on the arm wrestling table as much as possible and working out whenever I can for 4 years. Go to a couple small tournaments. Mainly I'm kind of a backyard arm wrestling guy, you know, hot dog and a beer and enjoying myself and doing a lot of arm wrestling, meeting a lot of good people, having a good time, you know. So that was me. That's what I did for 4 years. Then last year comes along, and the lady that owns the store next door where I buy all my coffee, cheers, I go in for my morning coffee, and she says to me, hey, Buck, are you guys any chance going to enter the strongman? Because we have a little strongman in my hometown. I've been watching my best friend, one of my best friends, do that forever. And I was just kind of like, well, you know, I never thought of it before, but yeah, maybe I will, you know. And I came home and I mentioned it to my wife, and my wife was kind of all for that. She loves to go watch it. So I didn't know what to do. My wife kind of called my buddy that's been into that from like my whole life. I've been watching him. And he hooked me right up. So I went down there last year, and I tied for 3rd place. Didn't train for a strongman at all, just jumped in and did it. And I was kind of late last year too, so it wasn't bad, but I tied for 3rd place. So this year rolls around, and I'm thinking, yeah, you know, a little older, that was pretty hard, flipping the car and stuff, but I'll give her another go. Why not? You know, I'll try it again, right? And so by this point, I'm still arm wrestling, and I'm not really working out that much because I'm constantly arm wrestling. So I go and I do it again this year, and be damned if I don't win 3rd place this year. Well, that did it. And of course, by now, the 2nd year in, some of my arm wrestling buddies are watching, and now they're really starting to want to go in too. So the main guy, Mark Hoover, that runs the Armed and Dangerous Club here in Dunnville, he gets back into it. He's an ex-power lifter. So I start getting, Mark starts getting interest, you know, because I'm doing this. And so the next thing you know, now Mark's spending money and he's buying toys, and we're doing strongman at his house every couple of weeks. Sarah Hauser's there, Jeff Bowman's there. We've got some big, massive people there. And I'm running with some huge people these days. And it's amazing because I'm just an underdog. I'm an old man at 50 that likes to just lift things that are heavy. And so people like this, my friends, they like this, and I'm hoping you guys will too. I'll always make good videos for you guys. I'll make a few videos every week for you guys. And yeah, you know, that's about it. I think I've covered everything. But thank you. Like I say, if you do support me, honestly, my first last year, without the crowd behind me, it would have been so hard to accomplish my first strongman. And then doing it this year, it was just, I knew the crowd had my back, and they did. I even had people want to get their pictures taken with me, some of their kids and stuff afterwards, because they're like, you were the best guy out there. And it's like, I wasn't the biggest, strongest guy out there. But these people are looking at me like, you know, you're the underdog. You're the older guy, the smaller guy, and you're out there, and you're giving her, and you're winning. They loved it. So from now on, you guys can have the old Buckster. I'll just make videos for you, lifting heavy stuff, doing crazy things. We'll get these wiener fights to you. You'll love those. They're very funny. So anyways, that's my introduction. Like I say, if you already know me, you already know me. And if you didn't already know me, now you know a little bit about me, where I'm going. And sit back and enjoy the ride. And thank you so much for your support. I love all you guys. I could not do any of this without you, and I mean that, okay? So see you guys tomorrow, and we'll go lift something heavy. Have a great night.